Hello. Welcome to Get In, We're Going Healing, a place where we talk about mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being to help you learn to let go of the things that are holding you back from being your best, greatest, most authentic version of you. My name is Tovah, and I will be your guide today. So today, one of the things that I've seen circling around in my day-to-day life seems to be the concept of how our perception of our world affects our experience in the world. So the quote that came to mind was this quote that says, "When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." And I wanted to talk a bit about that and the concept of our perception and our perspective. So just to bring in a little bit of concept into spirituality, this is the whole message of the card, the tarot card, the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is all about changing the way you look at the things around you, changing your perspective. Now let's look at it from a more practical standpoint. I don't know about other people. I just recently found out I was just recently diagnosed with ADHD, and that makes so much sense when I look at my childhood. I was the unusual kid that would hang upside down off of my desk and look at the room from upside down. I always thought it was so interesting when you looked at the room and the room that you normally look at, whether it's your classroom, your bedroom, your living room, whatever. The room that you normally look at and you know every square inch. The moment you look at it from upside down, the whole room changes. The whole layout of the room changes. And even your feelings towards the room can change because you've changed your perspective. Now let's apply that to our living lives. Let's take such a specific problem we might be having. If we look at that problem from the perspective of having a problem, as Ram Dass says, the only problem you have is that you have a problem. If you look at the problem you're having as a problem in that perspective, then of course you're going to have a problem. And in that meaning, that quote from Ram Dass, the meaning behind it is the same message. If you change your perspective and change how you see it, change the approach you have to it, it changes the whole situation. And it no longer becomes a problem. It's now something that is not a problem. Let me give you an example. This is something that I encountered in my life as I learned to change my perspective. For example, my child, the quote, "Your child is not giving you a hard time, your child is having a hard time." So when I took that advice and I saw a situation where my child was losing his mind over something, and I'm looking at the situation going, that's not even a big deal. It's not even worth losing your mind over. That's so minor. It's just a minor thing. But to him, it was huge. And when I stopped seeing it as my kid was just pushing back and resisting and giving me a hard time, and instead saw that my child was having a difficult time with something that he didn't know how to handle, I went from being angry and frustrated that my child was resisting to compassionate and understanding and helping guide him through the situation that he was having a hard time with. The situation didn't change, but my perspective of the situation changed. And as the first quote we said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. My child didn't become less reactive. My child didn't become less frustrated. My child didn't become less difficult. But my mind became less hard, less challenged, less difficult. My mind became softer and calmer and more compassionate. And I changed. Now, I want to take that concept and take it a little further. Okay, this applies everywhere in our lives. This applies to every situation. This applies to every relationship. Okay, let's look at it from the perspective of our relationship with money and wanting to have things a certain way. Now, this is a situation that recently has come to me And it changed my perspective on understanding how the universe gives to us. So in doing what I'm doing, in this work that I'm doing, which is an absolute labor of love, I love guiding you guys. I love giving advice and helping and sharing with you what I've learned, because I'm learning more and more people are beginning to get to this healing path and have no idea where to go. And I remember being in that place and not knowing where to go and having to really dig to find information to help guide me through. And I appreciate the opportunity to share what I've learned with other people who might be starting out on this journey and not know where to go. So it is an absolute joy to do this work. However, at this current moment in time, it does not really supply a lot in the way of financial abundance to support my family. And I had encountered some frustrations and difficulties within my home and my relationship regarding the lack of financial, substantial, tangible abundance to go with the work I'm doing. And so it put me into a state of lack, because you start off with the position of, I don't have enough. I need more. I need. I'm without. I don't have this. I need this thing. So you start from a position of lack, of I need money, universe. I need finances. I need money. And in a place of lack, I don't have enough money. I need more money. And I started in that place. And so that was a position of fear. And ultimately, it's a fear that you won't have enough, a fear that there's not going to be enough, a fear of lack. So I was in a position of fear and lack, which is never where you want to be when you want to manifest things into your life. You don't want to be in a position of fear and lack. You want to be in a position of abundance and gratitude. But I was having a hard time finding the gratitude while I was feeling that I was in lack. And the universe kept telling me, no, you will have abundance. You will have abundance. And I kept saying, where? Where this abundance you keep telling me is coming to me? And then we filed our taxes, and I got back a whole $5 on my return, but my partner got back a significantly larger sum of money. And then with that came an ability to relax, to pause, to calm. My partner was no longer concerned, outwardly, at least vocally, about my lack of financial abundance coming in. And I was confused, because I said to the universe, well, hold on, you told me you were bringing me abundance, but that wasn't abundance. You brought my partner abundance, but you didn't bring me abundance. That's what you said you were going to do. I'm still waiting. And the universe said, no, I gave it to you. And I said, well, but no, you didn't. I mean, I appreciate that I got $5 back. That's better than $0. But I mean, $5 isn't really going to go very far when I'm paying my utility bill and my gas bill and my cell phone bill and the groceries and all that stuff. And the universe said, oh, well, what you said was you wanted money to pay those bills, right? You said you wanted to not stress about money. You said that what you would do with the financial abundance is that you would pay your bills, you would, not have to stress, and you would not have to worry about your partner pushing you to rush to get into making more financial abundance, right? That's what you wanted with the money. And I said, well, yes, that's why I wanted it. And the universe said, well, didn't I do that? In the financial windfall I gave your partner, didn't all those things get achieved? All those bills got paid, and your partner is no longer very work concerned and stressed out about you rushing to get out. Your partner is no longer saying that you're in the red. Your partner is no longer concerned about you rushing to go make financial abundance, because that problem has been resolved. And I didn't see it initially. Again, like I said, I saw a lack on my end, but when I changed my perspective to see that what I wanted is what I got, it wasn't the way that I expected it to come, but I still got it. end goal of the financial abundance on my end, receiving financial abundance directly to me, was to get that outcome. And that outcome was achieved either way. It wasn't achieved the way that I planned it to be. But that's the thing, is we let go and we release and we change our perspective. It doesn't have to look the way that we've put in our heads for something to look. Changing our perspective means we can change how we see it. And that means we can see it from a different angle. And when we see it from a different angle, we see, oh, I did get what I wanted. It didn't come in the way in which I thought it would. But I still, at the end of the day, I still got that thing that I asked for in a roundabout way. So we change our perspective and we change our world. Now I see it that, yes, I did. Before I saw it that way, I thought that I had not gotten my blessings that I'd been asking for. And then when I was able to change my perspective, I said, oh, I did get it. I was given what I asked for. The situation didn't change at all, but how I saw it changed. I might be stressing about a bill. How is that bill going to get paid? And then somehow, maybe the company calls and says, oh, we made a mistake. You overpaid at some point. We've taken care of that bill for you. You have a credit. I didn't change anything, but the universe gave me what I asked for anyway. Money to have that bill paid for. I didn't get financial money in my pocket, but the bill itself got taken care of. That was the same end goal, right? Just a different means. So I also want to bring up when we talk about how we change from the inside out, there's a very popular quote within the pagan community that is the tree of life, and the meaning of the tree of life: as above, so below. I even have the tree of life tattooed on my back as a reminder of as above, so below. But I often forget that the rest of that quote is not just as above, so below, meaning that everything that happens in the seeing world also happens in the unseeing world, because the roots are below the surface. The roots are not seen by the naked eye. So everything that we see as above, so below. It also translates to as within. The remainder of the quote is as within, so without. So in that same token, we talk about as we have whatever's happening inside us, in our mental capacity, whatever's happening inside our minds will reflect to our outer world. What does that mean? Okay. What that means is when we are having a lot of chaos in our mind, you might notice that everything around you also falls into chaos. That when your mind is busy and stressed and buzzy and not calm, the world around you will also be busy and stressed and buzzy and not calm. But when you find that you can get into a space of calm on the inside, you'll find the world around you is also calm. Now, that's not quite as simple. I mean, that's a very simplistic explanation. So let's take it a step further. Let's take it into something that's a little more real world and applicable, okay? So let's say that you struggle with self-worth, that you don't feel that you have value unless someone else validates you, that without that validation from someone else to say, you are worthy, you did a good job, that was worthwhile, you deserve this. Without someone else giving that to you, you won't do that. And you can't seek it within yourself. You need that from externally. You need someone else to give you that for you to feel it on the inside. Now, the problem with that, because as within, so without. So if you feel that within you lack that, you'll be looking on the outside, you'll find you lack that, and you need that in order to make the inside feel good. The trouble with that is that we are looking for someone else to give us that validation. We are looking for someone else to make our inside feel good. So not as without, so within. It's the other way, but we're operating on the premise of as without, so within. So we're operating on someone else telling us that we are beautiful, that we are smart, that we are valuable, that we are intelligent, that they value our opinions, they value our contributions, they value this, whether it's a boss, whether it's a friend, whether it's a spouse, whatever, whomever it is. If we're looking for a parent to validate, all of those things, okay? We're looking for someone else to validate us and tell us that we're worthy. Get those likes, get those hearts, get those subscribes, get those follows, all of those things that then somehow through the external validation makes us feel worthy. The problem becomes when that external validation is removed, our worthiness goes with it. Our value goes with it. If we are not getting those likes, if we're not getting those positive validational words, those I love yous, those I appreciate yous, those, you did good work, all those things. If we're not getting those, then somehow we find ourselves in a position of telling ourselves that we aren't those things, that we didn't do good work because someone didn't tell us that we did, that our thoughts aren't valued because someone didn't like our video, that our thoughts aren't valued because someone didn't echo our sentiments and our opinions. It can put us in a position where we feel that we don't have that. Again, that position of lack. But when we change our perspective, okay, when we learn to see ourselves as valuable, when we learn to turn our lens from noticing the outside coming in and begin to do the work on the inside to cultivate the inside. So when we look at our inside, what we see is worth and value and love and all of those things, appreciation, when we appreciate ourselves, when we love ourselves, when we validate ourselves, when we learn to start to dismantle the perspectives that we have looking from the outside at us. That was someone else's view of looking at us from the outside. When we start to let go of seeing it from the perspective of the outside and begin to start on our inside and look outward from the inside, when we cultivate our inside, we begin to see the outside world reflect that. When we value ourselves, the outside world begins to value us too. When we find ourselves worthy, the outside world also deems us worthy. When we begin to love ourselves, the people in our lives outside of us begin to show more love as well. It all starts from the inside. It reflects your outside. I want to give one more quote that goes off of this, and this is an old one. And now whether you like his music or not, the song lyrics count for this. So in my world recently, I've heard this multiple times. I keep having it come up until I finally sat and really thought about the words. And the song Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson, where he sings the lines, I'm talking to the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No lesson could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, you've got to look at yourself and make the change. Same lesson. Same lesson. If you want to change the world around you, it has to start from within. As within, so without. And the world around you will reflect the energy that you exude from the inside. When you see the world as being a place that has care and love and compassion, it will reflect that to you. Now, will bad things still happen to you? Yes, indeed, because that life is not all about everything being given to you on a platter. But again, that is perspective as well. When something deemed negative happens to you, that's where we can have that and say, okay, what is this supposed to teach me right now? If we only focus on the negative aspect, on what it caused, the lack, harm, negativity that it caused us, we find ourselves, that becomes, again, the allowing the external to affect our internal. And then our internal is that we react to that. I am more than that. I am, and like shouting what we are as if we're trying to change that. But it doesn't require us to force change. Instead, it requires us to be strong in our insides and knowing I can handle this. I can deal with this. Something bad happened. That sucks. What am I supposed to learn from this? How can I grow from this? Somebody we love passes away. There's nothing we can do about that. However, what we can do is we can allow that pain to transform us. We can allow that hurt to pass through us, allow it to bring the grief and allow the grief to pass through us, allow our love to come through us. And then we can see the world as, yes, we lost someone that we cared about, but we're glad for how they impacted our lives and our hearts and how they showed us care and love when they were in our lives, and to live through their example by giving care and love to other people, as within, so without. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. It's just this concept of knowing that how you look at things, how you change your perspective, can change everything around you. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I hope that gave you a little change in perspective. So if this is something that you enjoy, don't forget to check out. We have exclusive content that happens on Patreon. That's in the description box. And if tarot is your thing, don't forget to check out my YouTube channel. You can also follow Tarot Reading Pick a Cards I put out regularly. And if you would like to book your own personal reading, you can find that information in the description box as well. So until next time, keep dropping those things that are holding you back from being your best, greatest, most authentic version of you. Love and light. Bye.